Significance podcast on the Vanguard Athletics Podcast Network. This is actually our first podcast of Stories of Significance done virtually and video here. So usually I'm talking to people just in a little podcast room, but with COVID and everything, we're trying to separate as much as we can. But I've got Michaella Elad here with us from the women's basketball team, who I feel like has been here forever with us, but that's a great thing because she's awesome. Michaella, thanks so much for joining the podcast. And why don't you just tell people about yourself, obviously the sport and kind of who you are.
Okay. First, thank you for having me. But I am Michaella Elad. I've been at Vanguard this is going to be my 5th year. So I graduated with my kinesiology degree last May. And so right now I'm in the graduate program for leadership. So yeah, that's been going great.
There you go. How's that program going so far? You know, you jumped from undergrad to graduate studies now, and I've heard great things about the leadership studies program, but how's your experience been so far with it?
No, my experience has been really good. It's weird because I'm a science major. So it's kind of like, okay, science-based classes to now not having any. It's like, oh, this is actually kind of nice. Like, it's kind of easier. But it's been really good. I'm loving the material and the discussions that we have. So
perfect. Well, that's good. I'm glad to hear you're liking it. Yeah, it's kind of funny you jump from that science brain to different type of brain, but I think those principles you're learning in leadership studies are going to help you long term, kind of give you that foundational piece, right? So I know it was a long time ago, I'm sure, but it feels like it. But tell us how you ended up at Vanguard. How did you end up on campus, and what's kind of your recruiting story? How'd you end up gracing the campus of Vanguard University?
Yeah. Okay. It was a while ago, right? But so the summer of my, senior year of high school, I just was like, I wasn't getting any offers or anything. So I was like, maybe basketball isn't for me. And I had already checked out. I was like, yeah, I'm just going to go to school just to go to school. But then I was playing in a game, and the coach of the opposite team after the game came up to me. His name was Coach Derek O'Neill. I went to a small high school called Aquinas, and he coached at a high school called Linfield. So we had just played them, beat them, and he was like, "Are you going to play anywhere?" And I was like, "No." And he was like, "Well, just let me train you for the summer." And I was like, okay. In my head, I was like, it's too late. Like, how are you going to train me? But okay. So he trained me. It was really good. That's how I met the point guard. So Victoria, who just graduated, I met her through that. And so he was randomly like, let's go to Vanguard for an open gym. And I had never heard of Vanguard. So I was like, what? Like, what is Vanguard? And he was like, it's in Orange County. I'll send you the address. It's going to be good for college experience. We'll go there and we'll play. And I was like, okay, like I've never played with college people, so let's do it. So we went, played, it went really well. And then Coach Davis was like, I want you to come back for another one. And I was like, okay. So I came back, and that's how, the rest is history. And I was like, okay. And he was like, I want you to come and play for me. And I said, okay.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Now the rest is history, right? So
yeah, the rest is history. And I didn't even think that. I was like, no, I'm not going to graduate from Vanguard. Like, no. But, God has a funny way. He has a funny way of being like, no, this is the place for you. So
that's awesome. Now you graduated and you're set. And how was your whole Vanguard experience? Tell us a little bit about. You talked about how you didn't think you'd graduate from the school, but what kind of changed your mind as you started going through and then you started kind of diving in? Because you're someone who, for those of you who don't know, Michaella, coming in, I feel like you were like kind of shy, a little, had a little bit of a shell, but like you blossomed a ton here in the last few years. And like what to you about Vanguard kind of helped with that process, and what changed your mind throughout that whole process?
Right. So when I first came, I was really like closed off. And also from where I came from, like, talking about your stories and expressing yourself and all that, like, I just wasn't used to it. So I was very reserved, and like, I was like, I'm only here to play basketball. Like, I'm not here to do anything else but play basketball and go to school. But my time at Vanguard, it was just, I've always been to a private school. So I've always done private school. So that part of it wasn't a problem. Learning about God and all that, that wasn't a problem. But I would say Vanguard, just the people here, the coaches, I love my basketball team. Just the people really just, I don't know, it was like a crazy mind switch, right? And I had to, talk to myself and be like, okay, Michaella, like, you have to be more open, because it wasn't like people weren't being open towards me. Like, there was so much love I was receiving, but because I didn't know how to receive it, I was like, I don't know, like, maybe I'm just not gonna talk to this. And I'm just like, you know what I mean? Like, it just was weird for me in the beginning. But as the years went by, as I was able to, like, work at Vanguard and just really let myself be more open, that's how I was able to really, like, just kind of come out of my shell. I would say Vanguard helped me do that, honestly. And it's just been amazing. Like I said, I didn't think I was going to graduate, but just being here 5 years later, I'm like, I can't imagine going anywhere else but Vanguard.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's so cool. I know, me personally, I've been able to see you kind of grow from freshman year to now. It's been awesome. And so, yeah, I know that, Michaela's been a huge blessing to the campus, and yeah, your work ethic's been definitely paid off on and off the court too, right? I mean, for you, I know you've put in a ton of work, and so it's all paying off here. Now I know last year it's probably still a little tough, right? Last year, basically everything happened with the coronavirus, and that hit right before your guys' national championship. You guys were set. You guys were playing well. I know you guys were excited to go get out to Montana and compete for a national championship. To be honest, like, you guys were there. If it's not too hard to talk about, I mean, how have you processed that? Like, how was that process for you? And maybe what have you learned from that process?
Yeah, so it did hit really close to home, also because the seniors that graduated, two out of three of them I came in with.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like, I redshirted, so yeah, I have another year to play, but like, those are the people I came in with. So we were like, okay, yeah, it's gonna be our last hurrah together, like, it's gonna be amazing. And we were all set to go. We knew who we were playing. We were already scouting. And then boom, like, you guys aren't going. And so it was really hard for the first couple of months for me, because it was like that processing, like, you work your whole entire season to go to nationals. And I knew some people at Montana, so we were already like, okay, I'll see you then. And, it was just going to be great. But all of that happened, and it was a funny feeling, because it was like, okay, what do we do now? Like, now everybody's going home, like, what's next? But for me, I guess I was just able to really start, I would say the pandemic honestly helped me to just become more grateful for little things. So it was more so of, yeah, it hurt, but at the same time, there's so much more in life to be grateful for. And basketball is something we have a privilege of playing. So it's not something that's like, okay, basketball is your whole entire life and that's it. I think that's also allowed, I know, me to realize that there's more to life than just playing basketball, and everything we get in life is a blessing. So the sport of basketball, it's beautiful. And I'm grateful that we're even back out here able to play, have the possibility to still compete. But really, I would say I have processed and healed, and I'm at peace with it.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like now it's more of every time we're on the court, it's like, okay, we know how it feels to get it stripped away. So now it's like, okay, we really have to come out here and do the work and really work harder because nobody knows tomorrow. No one would have expected this whole corona thing to happen or even for it to last this long.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like now I'm just grateful for the opportunity to be
Yeah.
able to.
Yeah, that makes sense. It kind of puts it in perspective. It can really be taken away quickly, right? Yeah, because
Yeah.
I know that the seniors on the team that last year, I mean, yeah, they were big parts of the program, and it didn't seem like there was closure there, right? And so
Yeah.
hopefully we can figure out a way that we can honor them, this year, this season, to kind of give them some closure here. So,
Yeah.
but
That's the goal. That's the goal.
yeah, that'd be great. So let me, just make it a little bit more low key, or I guess not as serious here. What's something that a lot of people may not know about you? Like, give us something that many people might not know about you. Maybe it is serious, but maybe it's not. What's something people don't know about you?
I would say most people don't know that I actually love talking to people. Like I love conversating with people.
Yeah.
I maybe sometimes like I can look like I'm shy or I don't really want to talk, but I just love conversating with people. I love reading. I just love just gaining value from a lot of people and sharing value too. So yeah,
That's good.
yeah.
Well, saying that you love conversating with people, who's someone that you just love to talk to? Like, anytime you talk with that person, you're just like, like that was a good conversation. Like, love that.
I would say my coach,
Yeah.
Coach Beth. Yeah, he just if anybody knows Coach, he likes to talk. Uh, but I just love conversating with him because he's so wise. And with him battling his battle with cancer and all of that and beating it, like he's just the wisdom that he has, the fight that he has. It's just amazing to hear about. He has a lot of life stories and life lessons. He's been coaching for so long, so he knows a lot. But even outside of that, just hearing his thoughts and sharing, being able to share different values and wisdom with him, it's amazing.
Yeah, yeah, and I know last year was really tough for the team. As Russ was fighting through that, and he beat it, right? And like praise the Lord there. But you guys were working through that and kind of walking with him through that the whole time, right? Like, kind of the emotional levels were high there because there were so many unknowns, right? Um,
Mhm.
maybe talk a little bit about that. Like, how was last season? Obviously, it ended crazy, but what was that like for you guys, knowing that Russ was battling, and how did that affect you guys on the court, and were you guys able to kind of rally around that cause?
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know, maybe a lot of teams don't know that, like, not having your head coach, it is very difficult, and it's challenging even mentally because he was the one who brought all of us here. Um, but really, like, he did an amazing job at bringing coaches in. So Coach Maya, we had last year, Coach Shelley and Caitlin Lee, like they were all huge parts of our program. And for us, I feel like I can talk for the whole of the team, but it was like seeing Coach fight made us want to fight hard on the court too, because he was fighting for his life. You know what I'm saying? And basketball is a big part of his life.
Yeah,
So on the court, it's like, okay, like he's fighting for this. So who are we not to fight for this too? He built the program really. So it was kind of like, let's go on the court and make him proud. And yeah, it was challenging. Like there was a lot of adversity and a lot of mental drawbacks. But like I said, like our coach Maya, I give her so much props because it's not easy, having to fill that head coaching position when you sign up for an assistant's position. But even then, like with him fighting, he still was very present. We still talked to him. He still did the best he could with coaching us and all of that. So Yeah, we're grateful. We're grateful that, he beat it and he's able to come out victorious. And even with this season coming up, like even we just had a week of conditioning, and having him out there with us was just amazing. So it's the little things really that, make it for us. I know.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and I'm missing him kind of all last year. I'm sure it's now allowing you guys to appreciate kind of him, right? Because a lot of people, I mean, people in the basketball world know Russ Davis, right? And so, like, I think a lot of the times you don't understand how special of a coach you're playing for, right? And how almost big time like Coach Davis is, right? And so when you miss him for a full season, you understand like how important it is to have him on the sidelines and each and every day in practice.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right. And he had his first game back. His first game back was when people were like, this man, like, he really, like, I can't go anywhere and I'm wearing a Vanguard shirt, Vanguard basketball, with somebody being like, oh, you play for Coach Russ Davis. And I'm like, yeah, like, okay, everybody knows you, like, everybody.
Yeah,
So it's pretty cool, honestly.
Yeah.
It is pretty cool.
Oh man, and I know it was special. It was a special night having him back on the sidelines last year too, because that was the night you guys not just honored him, but also honored Kobe Bryant that night too, right?
Yeah.
Maybe quickly. I mean, how was the emotion in that game? Like, how was that for you?
It was crazy. Like, obviously, we all know that Kobe was just a big part of the basketball world, and I'm just so grateful that I had the opportunity to meet him, and for him to help coach us a couple of times, and even be able to, he had his team come in the gym, so we were able to. I know in the summer I was able to. What is it? I did some of his games. I worked the scoreboard and stuff.
Okay.
So it was just when all of that happened, especially him being so close to coach, right? Like it was just unbelievable. Even to this day, sometimes I'm like, no, like he's coming back somewhere. Like, no. But that game, I don't think I've ever seen the gym that packed in my life. Like I was like, whoa, like we really, like I was talking to Victoria before the game. I was like, okay, we really have to be really focused because we're just not used to all of these people, But it was just beautiful to see the turnout, and it's so nice I mean, the circumstances wasn't nice, but for that to be coach's first game back and then us honoring Kobe, like seeing the amount of people that came out and showed love and respect it was amazing. The emotions were real high. Like it was a really fun game to play, but also remembering like Kobe was the one who paved the way for this. Well, not paved the way, but he, in our generation, right, was the man. So, and will forever be. So,
yeah. And you know what? He did I think one of the things I loved about Kobe too was he really wanted to empower women in sport, like to really truly feel like they belong, right? Like, which obviously they do, right? But he was truly empowering that movement, that motion. You saw that with his Mamba team and the way that he invested in his daughters, right? And so I think that's another thing. We talk about paving the way for basketball. I think he's paving the way for women in sport as well. In that
he is.
right?
He is.
So. So let's transition. We'll transition kind of into basketball again, like this upcoming season now, right? Like, God willing, we're going to be playing some games. There might not be fans in the stands. Who knows what it's going to look like, but we're going to be playing some basketball, hopefully, right? That's the hope. What are the goals for you this season?
The goals, well, aside from having personal goals, obviously, I think for me being like, my 5 years here, it's more so now my main goal really is to just be the best leader and teammate that I could be and really just show the ropes to the younger people that we have coming in. So of course, like, yes, I have my own personal goals that I plan on achieving, some records that I want to break or stuff like that. But just really inspiring the younger girls and raising them up so that they can be the best leaders they can be when the time comes, and all of that. So.
That's good. It's leaving a legacy and leaving something that the freshmen who are coming in can understand that, like, hey, this is bigger than you, right? This is a program, right? That's
Way bigger.
yeah. So that's good. I love to hear those goals. In kind of this season of life as well, how do you feel that maybe God is challenging you in this kind of chapter of your life as you're stepping into it?
Yeah, I would say God is testing me, he is, man, yeah, it's been a challenge, but I'm grateful. I'm so grateful. I can't even express it, of where I'm at right now and how he is, so present in my life. Like I said, Vanguard, like I've always known about my faith and all of that, but through this pandemic, I was able to become way closer to God, which I'm really grateful for, and really just reaching my higher self, and all of that. Because a lot of times we don't really talk about the mental side of sports, right? And that's a big part, it's a big part of your sport. It's the mental side. So I feel like God is really working in that for me. I would like to say that, on the court, I try to get things done, work hard and all that, but it's really nothing until you tap into that mental side, and don't brush past things that you need healing from and all of that. So I would say God is really just, he's so present right now in my life during this time. And yeah, I think I answered your question.
Yeah, you did. That's good. No, that's good. Good to hear how he's challenging you there, and I'm glad that you've kind of leaned into that idea that, just become more self-aware of the things that you want to change. And I love what you said about not brushing aside kind of some pains of the past, right? That's so important for growth as a person. Is to, if your past was not good, like it's okay, embrace that, but learn from it too, right? It's going to lean into that and understand where you go. So looking forward to the future here. Like, what's the plan? Like, you've already graduated, but like after this season, what's the plan for you? What are you looking to do? Career wise, any idea where you want to go end up?
So I do have. So this is a 2-year program. So I'm gonna have another year. But I plan on, and it's just been so like some days I'm like, oh, maybe I want to do this, or maybe I want to do this. But ultimately, I would love to continue to play basketball professionally. But I also would love to work with kids with disabilities. So that's definitely something that I'm looking into more, is working with kids with disabilities or kids in general, and just really, we're athletes. So kids, that's what I want to do. But I also want to work with athletes on the mental side of the sports. So a little bit of maybe sports psychology, because I know that the mental side can be can be really challenging, and if not dealt with, things can really go left. So no matter how great of an athlete the person is, like the mental side is very important.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I want to do. I have a little bit of time, not really, but God is going to direct me. I've given it to him. So
That's good. That's good. We'll keep praying into that and leaning into that. I have no doubt that you're gonna, wherever you go, end up. You're gonna do amazing things. So keep pushing into it. Your attitude and the way you carry yourself is gonna be huge. So keep it up. You're doing awesome. Any kind of final words of advice, maybe for some of the new students coming in as they're kind of listening into this, and any words of wisdom from you?
I would say trust the process of life, and just, you get out what you put in, so really college is supposed to be such an amazing experience. And if you come into it really closed off, then you might miss some blessings that you're supposed to have, right? There's always a reason to the season. I like to say that things happen in life. And I heard on this podcast once, like you should be dedicated to the vision of where you're going, but not attached to how you get there. So things are it's gonna be really up and down because that's how life is. But just stay focused, remember whose you are, and just make the best out of it. We only get one life, so make the best out of it, enjoy yourself, it's all a balance. So you do want to balance your social life, do good in school, that's a must. Great at your sport, do great at your sport as well. So if you're an athlete, you're here to play your sport, and it will get challenging, it will get challenging balancing school and your sport, but it's all about time management, and it's all about, getting some time for yourself and practicing all those mental things that you need to do. Like, it's okay to say no, it's okay to be like, you know what, it's going to be a me day. Like, it's okay to do all of that. But yeah, and heal from the past. We have amazing counselors. Go see a counselor if you need one. Talk to your coach, talk to your teammates, but don't hold anything in that is affecting you, because it will affect you in all aspects of life, not just in your sport, but in everything. So yeah, and trust God. That's the first thing I should have said. Trust God and lean on Him. But yeah,
Love it. Amen to that. All of that wisdom from Michaella here. So listen up, everyone who's watching in and listening. Well, cool. Well, Michaella, thanks so much again for joining us here. It's been a pleasure talking with you. And if you guys see Michaella around campus or come to the games, strike up a conversation, because we know that she loves to talk, right?
Yeah.
And,
yeah. Say hi to me.
Yeah. Oh man, but Michaella, thanks again for joining us, and hopefully you enjoy the rest of the season.
Thank you.